Well, that was a tough loss. Spurs lose big tonight at the AT&T Center. They fell behind big early to the New Orleans Pelicans, and they lose it 124-91. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. I'm Chris Duel. Michael Bartlett is here, makes the show go. Michael's not happy. I'm not happy. Spurs fans are not happy. This got ugly early. The Spurs were down by 20 in the first quarter with 3:34 to play. It was 27-7. Here comes Bill Schoening. Let's listen to Bill here. There you go, Peter. Hey, Wes Perkins. Hey, Christopher Silva.
First of all, here for the New Orleans Pelicans, they were led 3 fouls to 20 points for CJ McCollum, 16 each for Valanciunas, Jackson Hayes, 13 for Herb Jones, and Devontae Graham at 9. Off the bench, Najee Marshall at 18, 11 for Billy Gomez, 8 for Jose Alvarado, Aaron Wallace at 3, 7 for Trey Murphy, and 3 for Gary Clark. For the Spurs, 18 points for Denver Vassell. He was leading scorer tonight, 17 for DeJounte Murray, who had 9 rebounds and 5 assists. 11 points for Kevin Johnson with 5 rebounds, 7 points and 8 rebounds for Jakob Perkins. Primo was 2 of 8, hit 9 points.
Thank you, Wes.
Off the bench, 11 points for Joe Wieskamp, Doc Landale with 8, Trey Jones with 8 and 2 for Zach Collins. And that's up to 124 for the Pelicans and 91 for the Spurs. And again, the Pelicans improved their record to 29-41 with the victory this evening. Now the Spurs still have 2 games to 1 edge over the Pelicans in the head-to-head matchup, which might come into play at the end of the season. The teams are jockeying for position for the play-in. Again, the final 124-91. New Orleans over the Spurs. Spurs Radio continues. Spurs assistant coach Mickey Hammond on inspiration.
That was a tough loss. Hello, Beth Settle. Wes Perkins. Robert Browning joining us from Tokyo. Hey, Robert. Yeah, Robert is in Japan. Great to have you, Robert. It is almost noon in Japan. Good to see you. Jason Salinas, Nicholas, welcome in. Brian Birdie, who is a huge Spurs fan. Yeah, 35-10 at the end of the first quarter. So, Nicholas, this was just a great opportunity for the Spurs. In the final 12 games, they had 2 games left against the Pelicans. You want to win them both or at least split them. You lose tonight, and now we're 2.5 behind the Pelicans. That ain't good. We're still in the 11th slot, percentage points ahead of the Portland Trailblazers. You will play the Pelicans one more time a week from tomorrow night at New Orleans, but at the moment, things aren't looking good. Leland Bruce, welcome in. Taro Kotani. So we got 2 guys. We got 2 joining us from Japan right now. Robert Browning, who is about to climb Mount Fuji this spring, and Taro Kotani. Here's Bill. Bill Schoening, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, you love him. You can't get enough of him. I think I'm next on radio. Let me check with Michael. Am I next? Okay. Eric Taylor, welcome. Jason Salinas, Christopher Summers. Well, the good news, and again, Christopher, we're not done yet. 11 games left, 2.5 back of the Pelicans. One more head-to-head with the Pelicans. You got to win that. That would make it 1.5. So in the other 10 games, you got to make up a game and a half. It's doable. It's doable, but you got to start winning. Michael Phillips, welcome in. Eric Taylor says the Spurs were a no-show. Christopher Silva says, I'm canceling my season tickets. Come on, Christopher. You got to support the Spurs through thick and thin, man. Come on. Jason Salinas. There you go, Eric. That's what I'm talking about. Eric says, Spurs Familia forever. There you go. Eric says, in Pop we trust. What is up, Michael Phillips? Veronica says at least 3 players had double-doubles. Keldon, Devin, and DeJounte. There you go. Glass half full. But yeah, Peter Villarreal says, and I get it, the pain. It is painful. I feel your pain. I share your pain. Here we go. From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel. Final score tonight from the AT&T Center. The San Antonio Spurs fall to the New Orleans Pelicans, 124-91. Before we proceed right now, let's pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves along the Spurs radio network. Once again, the final score, the New Orleans Pelicans defeat the San Antonio Spurs at the AT&T Center, 124-91. Let's take a look at the NBA scoreboard. 11 other games in the NBA tonight. Games in progress. Midway fourth quarter, Jazz over the Clippers, 104-72. Late second quarter, Celtics over the Kings, 61-46. Late second quarter as well, Suns lead the Bulls, 59-47. Final scores from earlier tonight. Sixers beat the Mavericks 111-101. Knicks over the Wizards 100-97. In overtime, the Lakers beat the Toronto Raptors 128-123. Hawks beat the Grizzlies 120-105. Nets beat the Portland Trailblazers 128-123. That's good news for the Spurs because the 3 teams that are really vying for that number 10 slot in the Western Conference are the Pelicans, the Spurs, and the Portland Trailblazers. So with the Blazers loss and the Spurs loss, the Spurs remain in the 11 slot, percentage points ahead of the Portland Trailblazers. In overtime, it was the Cavs over the Nuggets, 119-116. Heat beat the Thunder 120-108. It was the Pacers coming from behind in the fourth quarter and beating the Houston Rockets 121-118. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI, and streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. Our Spurs React is coming up after a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening at the AT&T Center, where the Spurs lose to the New Orleans Pelicans tonight, 124-91. Spurs Radio continues in a moment. All right. Joanne Hernandez, welcome in. Joanne Hernandez is our most positive Spurs fan. Joanne Hernandez comes in here with the positivity. I'm giving you a hard time, Joanne. We love having you. Joanne says, no more excuses. The Spurs are done for this season. Not so fast, Joanne. There's 11 games left, and we're 2.5 games behind the Pelicans with another head-to-head game coming a week from tomorrow night. Brian Birdie. Brian is a great Spurs fan. Brian goes to every home game and a lot of road games. Brian says the Pelicans can jump over the Lakers. Lakers won tonight, though. Brian, Lakers are back. LeBron was on fire tonight. Lakers won in overtime against Toronto. Veronica, you make a great point. No Steph Curry, and we already won a game at Golden State very early in the season. Veronica makes an excellent point. Steph Curry is out for at least 2 weeks. So they are a Curryless Warriors team on Sunday night. Excellent point as always, Veronica. Thank you. Yeah, Peter, that injury to Lonnie Walker. Here's Bill. All right. See what we got here. Jose Trevino, welcome in. Jason Paniagua, welcome. Robert Browning. Robert is in Japan. In Tokyo said curry. Did somebody say curry? I'm about to have some Japanese curry for lunch. It is just after 12 noon in Tokyo right now. Let's see. Brian Birdie saying he can't hear anything. That's not good. Brian, I hope that's not on my end. I don't think it is. Jason says we want to win, but not upset about the losses. Okay, see, now you're freaking me out, Brian Birdie. Now I'm going to check my my broadcast here. Michael Phillips, yes, we're at 2.5 games behind New Orleans. Oh, Bill, okay. I don't know why you couldn't hear Bill. Sorry about that. I have a little bit of a different setup tonight, so Brian, that was probably the problem. Oh, here we come. Michael, I'll address that here. Well, that one hurt. That was a big game tonight. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. I'm Chris Duel, along with Michael Bartlett, who makes the entire broadcast go from beginning to end. Michael is not happy tonight. You might not even hear from him. And if you did hear from him, we might have some issues with the Federal Communications Commission. So we're going to be very, very careful with Michael Bartlett tonight. He is not happy. I've been saying on my show, by the way, if you're just joining us, Spurs lose tonight to the New Orleans Pelicans, 124-91. I've been saying this on my show on Ticket 760 in San Antonio and AM 1300 The Zone in Austin, the Chris Duel Show, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9. Be sure to join us. Bill Schoening joins us every Wednesday morning at 8:05. And oh, by the way, I'm getting him on Monday morning at 8:05 because he's got a new book that is going to hit it's going to drop. It's going to hit the shelves and hit Amazon and everywhere you buy your books by Bill Schoening. His book drops on Monday. So I'm going to talk to author Bill Schoening on Monday morning at 8:05. But I said this all week long on my show, and I believe it. This was tonight arguably the most important game of the season so far for the San Antonio Spurs, because the Spurs came into this game tonight with 12 games left in the regular season, and they were a game and a half behind the New Orleans Pelicans. Also involved in that chase for the number 10 seed, which gets you into a play in situation, are the Portland Trail Blazers. Going into tonight, in the final 12 games of the regular season, the Spurs had 2 games against the Pelicans, 3 games against the Trail Blazers. So 5 of their final 12 games against teams they're vying with to get into a play-in situation for the playoffs in that number 10 slot. They lose tonight, and they lose in jaw-dropping fashion, I would say. They were down by 28 points in the first quarter, 35-7. The end of the first quarter, it was 35-10, and from there, it's just hard to come back from 25 down in the first quarter. Pop was ejected at the 9:38 mark of the second quarter. We've seen that before over the years in Spurs history. I believe Pop tries to fire the team up, and it has worked many times over the years. It didn't work tonight the way we might have hoped, but Pop was just beside himself, as were Spurs fans. Lonnie Walker the fourth took a hard screen in the second quarter as well. He goes out with what appeared to be a back injury. An ugly night all night long. Halftime, Spurs were down by 31, 64-33. At the end of 3 quarters, they were down 95-57. And your final margin is 124-91. Now, I'm getting some questions on the live video feed. Can the Spurs still come back and get to the playoffs and get to a play-in situation? Yes, they can. They hurt themselves tonight, but it's not over. There are 11 games left in this regular season, and 4 of those games are against either the New Orleans Pelicans or the Portland Trail Blazers, the 2 teams that they are competing against in the standings to get to that number 10 slot. Now, Portland lost tonight, as did the Spurs. Spurs are in a virtual tie at the moment with Portland, but they are percentage points ahead of Portland. So the Spurs are in the 11 slot, but they fall tonight to 2.5 games behind the New Orleans Pelicans. So the Spurs, a week from tomorrow night, will be in New Orleans. They've got one more head-to-head game against the New Orleans Pelicans. And as Bill Schoening mentioned moments ago in postgame, Spurs still lead the season series 2-1. So if the Spurs win in New Orleans a week from tomorrow night, they'll win that series 3-1. They'll pull to within a game. Well, based on tonight's standings, they would pull to within a game and a half of New Orleans. So with 11 games left to play, the Spurs need to be, 3 games better than New Orleans. New Orleans with a 2.5 game lead. It's doable. It's going to be difficult. Spurs need to win some key games. As Veronica pointed out to me and us on the live video feed, the Spurs' next game on paper, very frightening, at Golden State in San Francisco against the Golden State Warriors on Sunday night. But Golden State is without Steph Curry. He's out with injury for the next 2 weeks. And don't forget, the Spurs won a game early in the season at Golden State. They know they can win on that floor at the Chase Center. 11 games left in the regular season. Spurs need to start winning some games. Spurs need to, 11 games left. They need to go like 6-5 or 7-4. They need to start winning, and you still got 4 games left. 1 against the Pelicans, 3 against the Portland Trail Blazers. You need to win those games against the teams you can beat and you should beat. Once again, the final score tonight: the San Antonio Spurs fall to the New Orleans Pelicans 124-91. Our thanks to Bill Schoening. He has a book dropping on Monday. I will bring that up to Bill in the broadcast at some point on Sunday night as the Spurs take on the Golden State Warriors. Bill Schoening will join me the morning his book drops on Monday morning over on Ticket 760 out of San Antonio, AM 1300 The Zone out of Austin, 8:05 on Monday morning. We'll just talk all about Bill's amazing new book, which drops on Monday. Our thanks to Bill Schoening, veteran statistician Walter Stoops, on-site engineer Sam Walters, and the man who makes the entire broadcast go from beginning to end, and the man who, if we brought him on to react tonight, would have probably put the FCC license in jeopardy because he's not happy tonight, Mr. Michael Bartlett. For those gentlemen, I'm Chris Duel. We will see you on Sunday night as the Spurs will be in San Francisco at the Chase Center against the Golden State Warriors. Tip-off just after 7:30, but Spurs radio game night with the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, Bill Schoening, at 7 o'clock on Sunday night. For those dudes, I'm Chris Duel. Once again, the final score, the New Orleans Pelicans, 124, the San Antonio Spurs, 91. This has been Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WAI.